right, welcome, Fernando. We are happy to have you on the show today. We are excited to hear your story, and in a few minutes, I would love to ask you some questions that we know our audience would love to hear and learn from. But first, would you mind telling our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah. So a little background on me. I'm the son of two immigrants from Brazil. Uh, when they came over to the United States, they kind of had the American dream in their head for not only themselves but for me as well. And that is, get good grades at school, graduate, go get a good job at a Fortune 500 company, and then retire 40 years later with a pension. That obviously isn't really the case anymore. So when I was 16 years old, I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that's when I realized that I was going to be a business owner. At that time, I didn't know that I was going to go into self-storage just yet, but it seemed like a really good idea. I did go to college. I graduated with an ag bioengineering degree and then went on to go work for a Fortune 50 company. But very quickly, I decided that the 9-to-5 life wasn't right for me. And within 13 months, I actually quit and started investing in real estate full time. So I first started with single family homes, doing what's called wholesaling. Wholesaling is when you put a property under contract and you flip the contract to a new investor as opposed to flipping the property. And then that investor will go and then do the investments into that property. And then from there, bought multifamily apartment building to hold as a rental property, and then started doing some fix and flips of single family homes and then holding single families for rentals. All while I'm doing this, I start getting issues with tenants and evictions and them not needing to pay. I thought it was going to be more of a passive business. And once I actually started running it, I found out it wasn't really that passive at all. That's when I found self-storage about 5 years ago now. And once I saw that there was no headaches, no tenants, no toilets, no trash, a lot easier to manage, that we jumped in full bore. From there, we started buying our self-storage facilities to hold. And then we started wholesaling some self-storage facilities, as well as doing syndications and raising capital in order to do these larger projects or to take down large portfolios of cash flowing self-storage facilities. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm 28 this year, so may seem a little young, but I think that's what this whole podcast is about, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
So kind of the dates were 16 is when I went Rich Dad, Poor Dad. 23 is when I started investing in real estate. 25 when I 24, 25-ish when I started investing in self-storage. And then now I'm 28.
Yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a great book.
Yeah.
If you guys never heard of it, please check it out. Who's the author? Robert? I forgot his last name. Yeah. Did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I didn't know that I was going to become an entrepreneur. Growing up in a household of immigrants, the thing that was always stressed was going to school, getting good grades, graduating, getting a good job at, some large Fortune 1000 company, and then, working your way up that ladder for 40, 45 years and then retiring with a pension. Once I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was 16, I knew that I wanted to run a business. I didn't know what kind of business yet. When I was 19, a freshman in college, I started my first pseudo company, and it was a painting company. It was called College Works Painting, and that's kind of what taught me that being a entrepreneur is a lot of work, but the rewards are worth it if you're willing to plug away. All throughout college, I was reading about real estate in general. And by the time I graduated, I actually did get a job with a Fortune 50 company. I actually had a pension, which was surprising. But within 13 months, I quit that job to do self-storage or to do real estate full time.
Okay. Next question. If you could go back to 16-year-old Fernando and give him some advice, what would it be?
Yeah, it would be to start sooner. So in the beginning, I feel like I had a slow start because there was a lot of opportunities around us that I wasn't able to take advantage of, right? So I graduated from high school in 2009 as the economy was crashing, if you will. And by the time I got out of college, it was 2013. So a lot of the really good deals that people were picking up, between 2010 and 2013 were still, they were pretty much between 2013 and 2015. There were still pretty good deals to be had, but I didn't have the capital or the network of people to lend me the capital to take care of those deals. So what I would tell myself, my 16-year-old self, is to start the real estate business even earlier, and to really focus on building a network of people that have capital uh, to support the deals that I was finding.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people like my age, around my age, that have that idea, but just like they just need to get started. They just need
Yeah,
that push.
the networking is one of the
Yeah.
most important things.
Okay, so next question. Who are your top three mentors?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting question because I've had mentors in various aspects of my life throughout my life. The first and foremost was my father. He really taught me how to be financially responsible, how to save money, how to not spend on things that were super frivolous, to live below your means, and then also to be forward thinking and to think of not what you want to do today or what you want to do next month or even next year, but what do you want to do in 5 years, 10, 20, 30 years? What do you want to do when you're 70 years old? And to craft your life in a way that you're incrementally working towards those goals, right?
Yeah.
Second mentor, which is the most recent one, is actually your father. This is Gary Harper, from Sharper Solutions. When I first met both your parents, Gary and Susan, it was a connection almost immediately. And I actually was in not a great spot as far as the business was going. Things had kind of gotten off the rails in the residential business, and they sat down with me for, man, and almost 3 hours, and just held my business on almost like the back of a napkin. Literally, we were sitting in a hotel lobby. I think it was in Tampa, and they helped me turn my business around on the residential side. And then what we did is, because I saw the massive value they created, we ended up bringing them into the self storage business. And since Gary and Susan got involved in the self storage business, we've been going like this. I mean, we've purchased 8 self storage facilities in the last year. We have another $10 million worth of facilities under contract right now. And that type of explosive growth wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the systems that Gary and Susan put in place for us. And then not only just the systems for the business, but for managing people, right? And the interpersonal relationships between the companies, and understanding how people want to be taught for their personality types. It's been amazing. And then, I always look at your dad. His number one goal always is to provide value. Provide value. Don't ask for really anything in return. And it's worked out great for us. I mean, everything I've learned from Gary has been amazing. So those are, I'd say, the beginning, and then the back end. And then throughout the middle, I've had a lot of mentors come in and out of my life. And I think what's important was the fact that I put myself out there to be mentored, right?
Mm.
I remember the very first time I went to a RIA group, Real Estate Investor Association group in Iowa. I stood up at the front of the room when they were asking people to introduce themselves. And I said, "Hey, my name's Fernando. I work for this Fortune 50 company. I don't really know anything about real estate. I've been reading about it for a couple of years now, but I'm willing to exchange my time for knowledge. So I'll work for you for free as long as you tell me why I'm doing the things that I'm doing and how that supports your business." And I was able to glean not only a lot of information, but as soon as these investors heard that I'd be willing to work for them for free and do whatever they said, I got so many mentors that just flocked to me and were willing to use me on the weekends, on the weekdays, help me, go on ride-alongs with them, and learn marketing and their marketing pieces and strategies. It was fantastic. So a couple notable ones are Mark Lane out of Des Moines, Iowa. He was the first wholesaler that worked with me. Guy Varble and Ron Shorkey, they were the first ones to take a chance on me and partner with me on a fix and flip, because I told them I didn't know how to fix and flip. I only knew how to wholesale at the time, and I would love to learn how to do it. And they partnered with me on a deal, and I didn't really have to bring any capital to the deal at all. And they did a 50-50 partnership. That was great. Uh, Aaron Adams out of Indianapolis, Indiana. He runs a super large turnkey rental portfolio. He showed me the management side of real estate and how to really get your costs under control, as well as the acquisition side, if you want to learn how to do it at scale. And then Scott Myers, who taught me the self-storage game, how to find them, how to market to them, how to manage them, how to find buyers, how to find lenders. It was, I've had a ton of, this was, what they see here is not me. This is not me, right? I stand on the shoulders of giants. Everything I do is because I learned these things from people that are more expert than me.
Yeah.
And then I just put them into practice.
Okay. How do you manage discouragement when things are not working out?
This is a definitely something that comes with inner game, right? That inner strength, because there was a lot of discouraging moments. It hasn't been all success, and any investor or any business owner you talk to that claims that they've never had failure, and they're lying to you. Success is built on the rubble of failure. So the key is to fail fast and fail often in the beginning, when there's not a lot riding on your actions, and then to learn quickly, not repeat those same failures, and then to accelerate. So in the beginning, it was tough. I mean, I took out $97,000 in credit card debt to start the business, and immediately lost 30,000 of it, right? And so for me, it was not only trying to keep my inner game strong and saying, hey, this is going to work out. If I keep working at it, it's going to make sense. But then also to have accountability partners. That's so important. I don't care how much willpower you think you have. It's not more willpower than when you publicly announce a goal to someone or a group of people, and then all of a sudden now they're checking in with you constantly to see if you're actually doing what you're saying or staying on track. And that's, again, one of the great things about working with Gary and Susan is, they're constantly checking in, being like, hey, you said you were going to close on 5 facilities. Did you close on those 5? And if I didn't, I can't make any excuses, right? So it's almost like you're almost shaming yourself, purposely creating a system of accountability so that you feel shame for not going through with the actions that you said you're going to go through with, right? For example, right now I'm in a weight loss bet because I've struggled with my weight for a long time. And I was always just trying to leave it up to my own willpower. So what I did is I created a challenge against one of my good buddies here. We have like $500 riding on the line, or I guess $1,000 now riding on the line. That stings, right? But on top of the money, there's also a shame component where the loser will have to pay for the winner's dinner at a nice Michelin-starred restaurant. And then the loser's not allowed to eat at all. He has to watch the winner eat while he has not eaten anything. And so that's a huge motivator, right? That's a huge motivator. So that competition is really great. And that external accountability is so important to manage discouragement when things are not working out.
Yeah, I've been dealing with that accountability for about 18 years now, my friend. All right. So what are some of your long-term goals? What are you doing to prepare to stay successful during this changing time?
Yeah, so this is one of the things that Gary helped us work through, was really setting our long-term goals, writing them down, and then creating a plan to achieve them, right? So our goal for December 31st of 2029 is to have 400 self-storage facilities under management or ownership, which roughly equates to $1 billion of assets under management. So that is my 10-year goal. What I'm doing to prepare to stay successful during changing times like now, where we have COVID-19 and the economic environment is changing rapidly and there's a lot of uncertainty, is we're focusing on maintaining a heavy cash position, maintaining heavy reserves, focusing on cash flow, not on appreciation, and really tightening up our internal operations, not only from an expense side, make sure that we're not, spending a bunch of money on things we maybe use or don't really use, but then also from a team member perspective. I'm a part of a mastermind called Collective Genius, which I think you've been to once or twice before. Um, and a question that constantly comes up is, if you look at all your employees, would you enthusiastically rehire each one of them? And if the answer is no to any employee, you need to fire them immediately,
Hmm.
right? Because they're just becoming a time suck, a money suck. And then the most important thing, they're messing up your corporate culture. They're bringing other people down. And these are things that can destroy businesses.
All right, we're gonna get into our last and final question, probably the hardest question. If you could pick any superpower, what would it be?
Interesting. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit by saying that I would have the power to manipulate matter, right? Because
Hmm.
with that, it's kind of a catch-all. I can fly, I can see through stuff, I can have laser eyes, whatever it is, right?
That's awesome. All right. As always, today's show was valuable information. I want to thank Fernando for your time and your experience and being willing to share that with us.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate your time, Jacob. Thank you.
thank you. All right.